What's going on, everybody? Facebook family, it's been a while. How you guys doing? Sometimes life gets so lonely and you just can't hold it in. I advise everybody to go seek some counsel. Go talk to somebody. It doesn't matter who it is, but go talk to somebody today. Let it out. Don't hold everything inside of you until you become so inflated you start to burst. Let it out. Talk to somebody. Try to make friends with somebody. Don't put yourself on an island to where you end up decapitating your own head. You end up it's like, that's how so much suicide happens. That's how so much alcohol happens, drug happens. That's how so much, self-affliction happens. Because you go through so much pain and you go through so much problems, and then you get so lonely and you just bottle everything up. It's like, you don't confess nothing. You're ashamed of what you're going through and you just hold everything in. It's like nothing ever happened. I put on my smile and I go and I live my life and I'm perfectly fine. I'm not going to tell nobody what I'm going through. But, you have to seek counsel. You have to, be in fellowship with your brothers and your sisters. That's the most important thing about church. That's what church is really for. That's what brothers and sisters is really for. You don't go through it alone. You don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to drink yourself away. You don't have to be on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat all day long trying to get your mind off of things. You don't have to go crazy spending money to get your mind off things. You don't have to have sex like crazy with every random person and just go crazy trying to get your mind off things. And if you have nobody to talk to, if you're absolutely truly alone, then you could talk to God. You could talk to Jesus. And Jesus is a great listener. He won't interrupt you. He's an open ear. Cry on his shoulder. Be like a disciple John, laying on his chest. You don't have to be alone. God just put that in my heart today. And I know I've been gone for a while. And it just hit me. I felt a little lonely today. And the sad thing is, I got my mother, my father, my sister. I had a few brothers and sisters as well here. It's a full house. And I just sat there on the couch. And I whispered, I'm so lonely. So I know how it feels to be in a room filled with so much people, especially people who love you, people calling your name, people trying to watch a movie with you, people trying to play a board game with you, people trying to have some food and dinner with you, and you still feel lonely. And that's a good thing. I know it may seem a little harsh, but that's a good thing because you're lonely in a full house of people and you're still alone. That void can only be filled with God. Sometimes God is allowing us to go through these lonely moments so we can realize no matter how much people are around us, brothers and sisters and cousins, nieces and nephews, no matter, even husbands and wives. I know husbands who say, I'm lonely with my wife. I know wives who say, I'm lonely next to my husband. Because there's a void in you. It's like you spend money shopping. That's a temporary cure. You get married and things like that. Those are temporary cures. If you don't have Jesus in your life, you eventually are going to go back to where you started out. You was lonely. Then you got the wife and the husband. You're going to go back to being lonely. You was lonely. You got a couple kids. You're going to go back to being lonely. You was lonely. You went and spent all your money. You're going to go back to being lonely. You bought a dog and a cat. But you're going to go back to being lonely. You got the drugs, the alcohol, the sex. You went to the clubs. You went to the theme park. You went to the beach. You went on a cruise. You're going to come back to being lonely. Because no matter what you do in life, there's a void in your heart that only God can fill. So what I'm saying is, you don't have to isolate yourself in a lonely island. We all are lonely sometimes. It's okay. We go through loneliness. Some of us like being alone. Some of us want to be alone. So, those type of individuals may not understand this video. But for those that trying to run away from their loneliness, from those that are trying to escape that darkness, you have to give it to Jesus. You have to give it to God. Is it going to go away right at first? No. Tarry. Wait. Wait for the Spirit to come. Wait for your relationship to be concrete on solid foundation. Don't go through your loneliness alone. You don't have to be alone. Fellowship with one another. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Talk to one another. Ventilate. Okay, let it out. Some of us, that's all we need. It's a conversation where only you're speaking and somebody's listening. Somebody who cares about you. Somebody who's going to give you a caring advice after you're done ventilating. Who's not going to be ashamed if you cry in tears. Who's going to love you enough to listen to every word you speak, whether it's 30 minutes or 3 hours. Some of us, that's all we need. We don't need no medicine. We don't need no cure. We don't need no prayer. We just need someone that's going to be willing to listen to us while we speak so we can let it out. Because it's like this bottle, right? This bottle could only hold 16.9 floor ounces. That's it. That is the maximum volume of water. What happens if I try to put this bottle in this? What's going to happen? I shove a whole bunch, right? I probably can't do it with the cap off, but I put a little needle and I start pumping water in there. Sooner or later, it's going to blow up. It's going to blow up. And the water's going to spill everywhere. And now you have a mess everywhere. Don't let yourself blow up. You don't have to be an emotional wreck. You don't have to be a nutcase. You don't have to be psychotic. You don't have to be with bad anger issues. You don't have to have outbursts. You don't have to have aggression problem. Passive aggressive. You just have to let it out and talk to somebody. I'm pretty sure somebody loves you and cares about you. And if you don't have nobody, that's why church is so important. Go to church. Talk to somebody. There's always somebody out there. And if you really feel like you're alone, if you really feel like the people who are available for you, they don't understand what you're going through. They can't relate to you. They can't even converse with you because they just don't understand. They don't have no sympathy or empathy for you. Then you have to bring it home to Jesus Christ. That's what I do. When I'm riding in that semi truck, I don't have nobody to talk to. I got my ear on. I got my music in my ear. And then I just talk to God. Sooner or later, God's going to answer you. Those who diligently seek Him shall find Him. The pure in heart shall find Him. The pure in spirit shall find Him. You are not alone. God is waiting for you to come to a place in your life where you cannot live without Him. It's impossible for me to live without you. I have a burning desire for you. Okay, I have a sweet tooth for you. I'm in love with you. I need my intimacy with you. When I'm driving in that truck, I'm praying constantly. There's not a day that goes by that Jesus is not in my mind, in my heart. It's not a day that goes by. Like Jesus is 24/7 in my life. And that's a good thing. Don't let people make fun of you. Don't let people try to put shame on you. You love Jesus. That's a good thing. That's a beautiful thing. But he's the only one that's there. When the lights shut off, when the cameras are off, when you clock out your job, when the money's gone, when the health is gone, when all the benefits and luxuries in your life is gone that people are attracted to. Because sometimes people are not attracted to you because they love you. You either have good looks, so they're attracted to the good looks, not you. You got some money, they want that. You have connections, they want that. You probably have something they could benefit from you, so they want that. They don't really want you. And some of them just want the love from you. They recognize that you are a great lover. You are a kind-hearted person. And that's all they want. They want your love, your kindness, they want your heart. And then they're going to leave when they find something better, because they only came for a one-night stand. So you got to give it to God, give it to Jesus, man. You don't have to feel alone. Trust me, my testimony, I used to drink 2 bottles of liquor. I used to get up at like 8 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, I'm at the liquor store. By 12 noon, I got 2 bottles of liquor. Ciroc, Hennessy, E&J, Brandy, VSOP. I mean, you could name it all. The liquor store down the street for where I used to live in Apaca, they knew my name. They knew my name. I didn't even have to go to the shelf. They had it right there for me. And then throughout the rest of the day, I would drink a lot of Heineken. I used to go to work drunk. I used to drive drunk. I mean, I used to, I did some things. I got locked up drunk. You don't have to go through these things. And then when I was in jail, I was facing like 10 years prison, but I beat my charge. Thank Jesus. But I only did like 6 months county jail. I did 2 weeks in 33rd in Orlando. I did the rest right here in Osceola County on Simpson Road. And, I was very lonely then. And I think my pod was like 200 men. Now you might say, John, how you alone? You have all these men here. They want to play cards. They want to shadow box with you. They want to work out with you. You know what I mean? They trying to keep everybody company. I was still alone. I got out of jail and I started, having sex with this woman, that woman, that woman. I was still alone. Till I realized, man, Jesus, I surrender. I don't care what people say about me. I don't care if people make fun of me or mock me. Because the life I have now is way better than the life I have then. I used to ride with a sawed-off shotgun underneath my driver's seat. I was going down a path of destruction. I could have been killed. I mean, I got some stories. I could have been killed. There's been many times where people try to set me up to kill me. And I always lived. So I realized something. I don't have to be alone anymore, because somebody up there. I always knew of Jesus. Like I said, my mother and father were pastors, speaking in tongues, Holy Ghost filled. So, I always knew they had Jesus. But it was just like, okay, I'm a son of a pastor. I'm a son of a, so-and-so. And I go to church and things like that. And I will go to church for the wrong reasons. I will go for the music. I will go for the pretty women. I will go for the business opportunity. Until, I had to really, really cry out to God and say, you know what, God? If you're real. Now, I've seen my dad cast a demon out. I've seen people from deaf to hearing. I've seen crippled from wheelchairs to walking. And I'm seeing these things. But for some reason, I had to still ask God, you need to show me who you are. I can imagine God scratching his head like, son, haven't you seen who I am? But I used to tell Jesus this in my prayers. You show yourself real in everybody else's life. And that's great for them. They're healed, they're walking, they're happy. But what about me? I don't want to be a window shopper. I don't want to watch everybody else get the blessing. Everybody else get the miracle. What about me? You forgot about me. So I went through life with a chip on my shoulder. And I didn't know what to do. So I went to the boxing gym, the MMA gym. I went to the, regular gym. And I used to work out every day. I used to work out so much that I would hurt myself. I think I tore my rotator cuff here. I got some injuries from lifting so much weight because I couldn't find a way to ventilate myself. And I got fired from many jobs. I crashed 2 trucks because I got to a point where I didn't even care if I lived or died. And I didn't. One gentleman put a gun to my head one time. I didn't even flinch. No fear. I would just like, pull the trigger, brother. Let's do it. I don't want to live this life anymore. So I'm taking you a little deeper, in my story, but it was when I had to say, you know what, God, I surrendered. I think it was like a deep breath. All right, God, take the wheel, man. You got to show me something. I don't care what the Bible says. I don't care what the preacher says. I need you to speak to me directly. I would not live for you until you show me. I will not confess you until you show me. Now, this is after I've been baptized. I've been baptized, I think, 3 times. And, after all my baptisms, I'm still telling God this. Because it's one thing to be saved. It's a whole different thing to be delivered. And after you're delivered, it's a whole different thing to keep your faithfulness to God and keep fighting this good fight and keep running this hard race. A lot of prayer, a lot of fasting, a lot of crying out in tears, not ashamed, giving God my brokenness, giving God my depression, giving God my sadness, and little by little, I haven't drunk liquor, I think, since 21 years old. I'm turning 27. That's 6 years clean. No alcohol. I think my last beer was when I was 23. I'm good to go. And I haven't had sex with a woman, I think, in over 3 years. I don't need no drugs. I don't need no alcohol. I don't need no sex. I haven't got physical with a man and since 21 years old. My last fist fight was 21 years old. I'm just all in for God. I have a lot of peace. When we do get stressful. We do get stressful. We do get angry. We do get eager for a way out. That's just a part of, human nature. But I always know who to run to. I always know who to run to. My Father is waiting for me. Even though He hears everything and He sees everything, He still wants us to confess. He's waiting for you to open your heart. God sees everything. He hears everything. He's always present throughout everything. But He's such a humble God that He will not interfere into your life until you give Him an open door. So I used to say, God, like you see everything that's happening. Why are you not doing nothing? I've seen people die in front of me and take their last breath. I've seen my friend marry his wife, and just 3 months later, she dies of cancer. And I had to hold him. He's crying in bed. Like, how does this stuff happen? And you say you love us. And God finally told me, I can't be in your life if you don't allow me in your life. So this is why I make the videos. This is why I try to preach and talk to as many people as I can. And I'm not worried about friendship. I'm not worried about my reputation. I'm not worried about anything about me. I am just a vessel. Jonathan Perez don't exist no more. I am just a messenger for God. My reputation, my name, my status, my pride, my ego, everything that I wanted to be growing up, I eliminate it. I give it to God. Jesus, now you direct my path. You direct my path. I trust you. I'm here. I surrender. I finally know now what's important and what's not important. I finally know now that the broad path leaded to destruction because I've seen it and I lived it. And now I'm on the narrow path. I don't see nobody, dying with cancer. I don't see nobody being on drugs. I don't see nobody committing suicide. Everybody who's a Christian, they're living this great life. Yes. Is it going to be peaches and cream and cotton candy 24/7? No. Life is just hard. Whether you have God or not, life is hard. But I'd rather have a big God behind, I'd rather have a big God on my side. I know what it's like to live life all without Jesus. It's pretty terrible. I know what it's like to see the judge hand out calendars, 60 years, 40 years, 30 years, seeing grown men cry and go to jail, seeing women come to jail and divorce their husbands through power of attorney, because the wife doesn't want to stay married to a man who's facing 40 years. I've seen a man hang himself. I know the devil very well. I was so close to it. I know what it is to have child molesters and all kind of people around you, and you don't even know who they are until they get sentenced. Then you're like, wow, I had this guy next to me the whole time and he's raping little kids. I know what the devil's like. I've seen it. So trust me, I'm taking Jesus to the grave. And the beautiful thing about taking God to the grave is we don't die. God breathed in our nostrils the breath of life. He's going to take back our breath of life. Only the body dies. You know? That's how we get old and gray. You know, we're dying. From the day we were born, we're dying. We're not living in the end of days. Since the day Jesus went back to heaven after the cross, the time has been ticking for his return. I'm going to end the video because I don't want to keep it too long. But the point is, reach out to somebody. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to be on an island. You don't have to be crying tears on the inside. People think crying tears is on the outside. Sometimes you cry tears on the inside. Don't drown yourself with those tears on the inside. You could let it out. You know, just like when I baptized my homie, let it out, brother. Let it out. And him too had to take a deep breath and let it out. And I could feel in the spirit all that pain being released. All those dark confusions and just a lot of anger being released. It's like God allowed me to feel it, and he was holding in a lot. Wow, man, this body can contain a lot. Just no pride, no ego, no shame. Trust somebody. Find somebody you can trust and just call them up. It don't always have to be about, hey, how was your day? What you doing this weekend? What you eating? Wow, how's your family? Call them up and say, look, listen, I want to have a very important talk with you. I would love for you just to be quiet, don't say nothing, and just be my ear. Let me know when you're not busy. I'll call you back in an hour because I need your undivided attention. Put the kids to sleep, go to a private room. I need your help. My life depends on it. I'm killing myself inside. I can't hold it in. So don't hold it in, guys. Reach out to somebody. You know, you don't always have to be with the pastor. You don't always have to be with somebody anointed. Anybody who's willing to listen to you, who's willing to love you, who's willing not to judge you, who's willing not to, you know, gossip about you, use it against you, and make fun of your weakness or your brokenness. Somebody who's willing to say, you know what, brother and sister, I got all the time in the world. Whatever you say, I won't even. Shh. I don't have a tongue right now. I don't have an opinion right now. I don't have any thoughts or understanding right now. You just want me to listen? I will listen. And if you ever need me to give you advice, I will ask you if it's okay. Because, once you're broken, you're already on thin ice. I don't want to push you to the edge. Pick somebody up. You don't have to be clubbing and partying. Just pick somebody up. Hey, yo, bro, I'm going to pick you up. Hey, sis, I'm going to pick you up. I can feel you going through some things. I want to help you ventilate. I want to help you release it. I want to help you get closer to God. I will step out of my comfort zone into your discomfort in hopes of helping you step out of your discomfort into your comfort zone. I will sacrifice my comfort zone to help you in your discomfort. And when you reach your comfort zone, I can always go back to my comfort. God gave me peace. God gave me joy. God gave me, he He gave me the rock. I'm not going to be stingy with it. I'm not going to hide it. I'm going to let it out. Okay? That's all I got to say. You don't have to be alone. You know, some Christians right now, they're doing drugs. They are drinking alcohol. They are clubbing. They are having sex. They are fist fighting. Christians that have been Christians for 5 years. It don't matter how long you've been a Christian. There's a pain inside you that you never surrendered. And God doesn't force himself on you. And then you get angry. You cry out to God and say, God, why? God is asking you the same thing. Why haven't you surrendered it to me? I'm not going to interfere in your business. I'm not going to force myself upon you. Surrender it to me. And believe that it's taken away from you. The same way when you get baptized and God says, receive the Holy Ghost and believe you received it. There's no special effects. There's no 4th of July going off. You just have to feel it and believe it. And walk and live the rest of your life like you got it. And that belief will manifest it. So when you cast all your cares upon God's feet and you give it to his hands, you need to live the rest of your life as if God is taking care of it. And sooner or later, it will be away from you for good. You will be manifested walking through your new beginning. All right. What's the sense of being a new creation in Christ if we're still holding on to everything the old creation had? Let it go. Sometimes what we do is, I wish I had like a backpack to show you or something like that. But you know, what we do is we become a new creation. Then we go grab our old stuff. And we take our old backpack with us. We don't want to leave our stuff behind. We want to walk with our new self, new beginning, new identity. But then we grab our old stuff. And in that old stuff is our pain. Is everything that we try to eliminate in being a new creation. We go back and we pick it up. Same thing. We go back to that old friend, old ex. We go back to the old. We become new and we want to hold on to a couple of things of the old because we're not ready to let go. And God is going to let you hold on to it because he's not going to force yourself on you. And then when you cry and you get lonely and you get sad, you're asking God, why? You're holding on to it. Let it go. Go to the store, get a new backpack. Fill it up with some new stuff. Things that are righteous. Things that are healthy. Things that are beneficial for your heart. We don't take into consideration that our heart is beeping 24/7. You're putting so much stress on your heart. You're hurting yourself. Your whole body, even your brain, depends on your heart. You love with your heart. You get sad with your heart. You get angry with your. Take it easy on your heart. Put your heart in the hands of somebody who's going to love it and cherish it and just take care of it. You don't have to be alone. I know what it feels like to be alone in rooms full of hundreds of people. I used to go to conferences and sit with thousands of people for these motivational speakers. And I'm still lonely. Give it to Jesus Christ, my kings and my queens. And I promise you, with everything that I believe in, everything that I am, and everything I wanted to die for, Jesus will set you free. Y'all be blessed, guys. I love you guys.